Good evening, guys. How are we all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. This is our Bitcoin evening wrap. So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, we will go straight over to these charts. Let me just check one thing. Oh, that's no good. Anyway, so Bitcoin is looking good here. We have managed to hold above this 10,800 level for, well, the whole day. Stock markets have had a nice move up, and yeah, as you can see, we're holding outside of this downsloping trend line. And we're holding this horizontal support, both of the things that we broke to to get this nice move up. So the last thing left for us to do is to get above this 11,000 to 11,100 resistance, and then we are basically back into this zone here after a little fake out to the downside, and this will look pretty constructive. Obviously a big sell-off, as you can see, and then we just worked our way up with a low, a high, a higher low, and then a higher high, assuming that is what happens. So it will not look bad in the context of the overall trend. We obviously had this major important, well, so we had this horizontal and this horizontal, obviously this important one here, and yeah, we broke above that. We actually came down and quite thoroughly back tested, well, certainly this one, but also this level here too, and yeah, and are, as it stands, looking like we are going to attempt to push up. So yeah, that's a good back test of this this whole macro area. As you can kind of see, for what's obviously gone on for quite a long time now. Let's just have a look here. Yeah, you can see it. So this whole area that we've had basically probably would have had marked out as a level since mid 2019. Well, so mid last year. But yeah, above there, back tested it, and now we are looking to push on. So that is obviously constructive price action. Back to the 4 hour, and we'll get zoomed in again. But yeah, obviously we do know our levels to the downside. Firstly, we've obviously got the 10,600 level, then we've got this low that we put in, and then obviously ultimately we've got the 10k. So we know the levels to keep an eye on. But whilst ever we have the stock market making these moves like this, obviously we said stock market was looking like, or the S&P at least, was looking like it was attempting to break this downward sloping trend line, attempting to break this horizontal, and if it did, it was gonna, well, make its way up to 3,400, which it is at present doing. And then it is a case of, can we get back above 3,400? You can see the significance of 3,400. Can we get back above that level, and then, well, make some progress in this area, and then ultimately go into new highs, which potentially we can do, obviously, if we get back up there. So that is obviously good to see. Nasdaq as well looking like it's pushing up. So yeah, that's also good. Dollar index, let's get the good old dollar index up. Yeah, so it is easing off. Looking like it's going to come and well, I would say it's going to come and test this horizontal. You guys know I prefer horizontals to sloping trend lines, so I would guess we're going to at least come down to here, and then yeah, maybe we bounce there, carry on upwards, and then yeah, we're all done. Or we lose this level, test this level, potentially lose that level, and keep moving down. You obviously know my macro views on the dollar. Whilst the likelihood, obviously with last week's price action, did increase the possibility of us going into what is actually a dollar bullish scenario. It increased its percentage chances from what were 40%, a 40% chance of going into a deflationary environment, to a 43% chance. That clearly leaves a greater percentage chance of us not being in that deflationary environment. Obviously, the obviously price action in assets is reflecting that increased probability, of that 3% increased probability. But obviously, yeah, that was last week. So if we get some downward action here, we'll be back at 40%, and if we keep moving down, probably a lower also. And that is for that is for Q4 this year as well. So obviously the further down the dollar comes, and obviously the nearer we get to Q4, the lower the chance of obviously being in that environment in quarter 4. So we are still bullish, guys. We are still bullish for the time being, as in bullish risk assets, and bearish risk off assets, i.e. the dollar. So bearish this asset. That being said, let's have a look at good old Ethereum BTC first. I think it's a bit more interesting, because you can see we have got quite a clear defined trend line coming in here. We'll just adjust this a little bit. We'll actually make this a bit thicker, seeing as looks quite important. A clear defined trend line here. And if we take this out, I mean, we're seeing this so much, aren't we? We've taken one out in the stock market. We've taken one out in Bitcoin. Can we take one out in this Ethereum Bitcoin pair and go off to the races once more? Well, that is the name of the game. Obviously lining up with this horizontal also, but we have got a few horizontals in here. But yeah, it is sounding a very familiar story, isn't it, guys? But yeah, if we can get above here, hold above here, we will be looking good in Ethereum also. Ethereum USD doesn't quite have the same clear defined trend line, so obviously we can't draw it in. Unless, well, now I'm not going to draw it from these points, because clearly in Ethereum Bitcoin we've got like 3 nice touches here, and we're at it for a 4th touch. Obviously I could draw it from, I can't really draw it. We can't draw it, guys, so we just gotta look at the horizontals. So yeah, horizontals, obviously if we take out these levels, we're targeting the next horizontal level. BTC.D, how are you doing, sunshine? So you can see we had this pretty important level in. Again, that's why it was a pretty thick line here. Rejected price nicely, as I actually did expect. I would have said in the video when we were looking at this that yeah, this is a good turnaround point. Little fake out, a little fake out, a little swing failure pattern above, and then all the way back down. And yeah, we are at potentially a level of potential importance. I don't know how many times I can say potentially. Maybe we'll play a little bit of sideways here. Okay, we'll draw it in. Maybe we'll play a little bit of sideways in this well, actually it's down here, isn't it? A little bit of sideways at that level. Let's just make that not so thick. A little bit of sideways potentially between this level and this level was the one I actually wanted to draw in, but do I actually want to draw this in? Yes, we will draw it in. We will draw it in, because basically this is potentially the zone that we could trade a bit of sideways in this zone before then either breaking up or breaking down. So that's what I would be looking at for this BTC.D. Gold and silver obviously having a good day. As you can see, looking like we are, well, at least, as I did say to you guys, at least coming to test the midpoint of this breakdown. So we'll draw the line in there. So are we just going to test this level and bounce off, or are we going to basically break this level and go back up? Because we are expecting a big expansion of volatility, and this is not enough. This is not big enough of a move for this tightening range. So it doesn't have to all be one directional, as I said. So we can start making a move to the upside quite aggressively if we so choose. Silver having just a very similar move, very similar price action. We can draw it in here. Obviously this was an important level on the way down where we bear flagged out and then broke it, but yeah, this level here. So realistically for gold and silver, if silver can get back above here, it's not just a midpoint retest, in which case we'll expect 100% retest and then maybe even more. Same with gold. If we take out this level, it's not, and don't reject from it, it's not a midpoint, it will no longer just be a midpoint retest, and then we'll be looking for 100% and then bigger and better things. So yeah, that is that. How is Tesla doing? Let's have a look at our good friend Tesla. Here we go, Tesla. Tesla, quite a vicious breakdown of that trend line. Obviously not today, on the well, last week, but yeah, we have still bounced back up. Yep, probably faked out a few bears. Probably faked out a few bears, probably faked out a few bears here, probably faked out a few bears here, and then yeah, but so far as we can see bouncing, we can draw this trend line in Tesla also. I'm drawing a lot of trend lines today for someone that doesn't particularly like them, but I just prefer horizontals. I don't not like them. I have no real bias, but I just find horizontals work better, therefore I prefer them. But yeah, this trend line, get it back above here, we will be looking good. We will be looking good. Well, realistically, you just sort of expect to take it. I mean, just wherever you want, guys. Whatever you want, mate. Just you choose. You decide. Yeah, so back to Bitcoin. We will have a quick whiz through, see if we are getting any TDs that we need to keep an eye on. Nothing on the 4 hour. Come on, load up. It's been a bit slow. Let's go to the 10 hour, see if we want to load up there. Yeah, nothing on the 10 hour. 8 hours. 8 hour is not want to load up. Yeah, nothing on the 8 hour. Nothing on the 12 hour, apart from obviously our reversal 9 that we talked about at the time. Yeah, nothing on the daily. There will be nothing on any of these other time frames either. Now that obviously I'm looking for sells and clearly won't have enough candles for a sell. So yeah, let's just straighten a couple of these lines out. Oh, there we go. Straighten this one out too. There we go. Well, it's straight enough. That'll do. Bang on. So yeah, nothing else we need to look at on those TD wise, but I do want to look at the stochastics now. This has been slow as well. Interesting. What is going on? Yeah, so stochastics getting back up there again. They can hold in this zone, the 4 hours, pretty easily, obviously with higher time frames moving up and higher time frames. Yeah, 10 hour looking quite nice. 12 hour still on its way. Daily turned up and looking to get back into the bullish half of the side. 2 day still doing what it was doing this morning. 3 day probably still looking at curling back up if it wants to load. Let me just check. This is still recording okay. Yeah, 3 days still turned up, so that is obviously good to see. And has 5 day lost its downward well, directly down trajectory? We're gonna find out in a minute. We're gonna find out. No, it hasn't. No. So yep. So that is the 5 day. Yeah, back over to again. I'll just remind you guys what I am thinking is going on here. Said it a few times. Daily 9 here, bi-weekly 9 here. So this is a nice sell-off from it. I mean, you can look at it as a midpoint retest. So yeah, again, I mean, 11k is an important level. Can reject price and send us bearish. But I don't think that's what's happening. But yeah, as long as we get above it, above the midpoint, again, it's what I was saying before, get above the midpoint retest, we're looking for 100% and then potentially onwards and upwards. The DXY, obviously, we're looking at that the weekly buy, not the bi-weekly. That is a bi-weekly chart on the on Bitcoin, and it is a weekly buy, as in BUY and not BI. So yeah, bi-weekly 9, there we go, reverse price. Look at it, look how good that is, guys. They're all the warning signs you needed. Bitcoin at the high, dollar at the low, bang bang, both high time frame TD sequentials. They telegraphed this move, guys. They telegraphed this move. But yeah, obviously the dollar on the weekly is looking like a bull flag. It's still looking bullish. I wouldn't expect this just to turn around and come straight back down. That's kind of what I have been looking at the dollar. Let's go over to the 4 hour. Yeah, I mean, we have got the levels. I think all these levels can hold price up a little bit, hold price up at this level, hold price up at this level, and then yeah, I mean, even potentially hold price at the trend. I don't think we're just going to come straight back down. But hey, stranger things have happened. But yeah, obviously it is the moment looking like a bull flag. But again, I still think the bearish dollar fundamentals will win the day. So yeah, that is it really. Not much else to say. We are playing a game of, are we going to get back above that very major important area of this 11k region, 11k to 11.1? Are we going to get back above there, hold above there, and go full bull mode in this area here? I think that will be the point that the Bitcoin dominance comes right down. Altcoins have an absolute moonshot again. and yeah, and everyone will be a winner. So yeah, that's it, guys. So yeah, that's it for tonight. Remember, this is not a financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I will speak to you guys in the morning.